If you are not honoring your intuition, if you are not checking in on it, recognizing it, learning to trust it and follow it, every single day I can guarantee you, you are missing some really juicy opportunities. There's a lot of misunderstandings about intuition, and I'm going to set those right today. Stick with me because this is a skill you can develop. It is not just something for a select few or something you have to be born with. It's a skill. So if you feel like you don't have it, it's because you haven't learned how to develop it. Today we're going to cover exactly what intuition is and isn't, and then I'm going to share some really simple steps you can start today to develop it and start using it this very week. As I mentioned, a lot of people misunderstand what intuition is, and we think that some people are gifted with it and others are not because you haven't recognized it in yourself yet. But I can guarantee you've experienced it. You may just not have recognized it. Most people consider intuition to be a knowing, an understanding something, or a feeling about something when you don't have external proof or an analytical reason why you would think or know that thing. What intuition is information bubbling up from your subconscious. It comes from the right side of your brain, and if you're very analytical or what we call left-brained, you may not be used to tapping into it. On the other hand, if you're very creative, you probably utilize your intuition often and don't recognize that you're doing it. Most of us, at some point in our lives, have experienced that knowing, and we don't know how we know it, or that feeling. A lot of times you may feel that with a new person you've met, that instant bond, or that repelling energy. You just feel like you don't trust them. You feel like you should give them the benefit of the doubt, but something is making your spidey sense go off. Quite often, that is your intuition kicking in. It recognizes something that you consciously are not aware of. Now, how does it do that? A lot of people confuse intuition with inner knowing, which you'll also hear me talk about often. So I want to explain exactly what the difference is. And then I will just say that a lot of the tools I share and the tips on how to develop it will serve you in both areas. Your intuition comes from your subconscious. Your subconscious is this vast part of your consciousness. It makes up 95%. Your conscious awareness, or what you think of as you in your analytical mind, your thoughts, that's only about 5% of your consciousness, a little more than that. It's a very small piece of your consciousness and what you're able to take in. Your subconscious takes in data points all day from your senses. And that data is so vast. There's billions of data points. From your peripheral vision, as an example, from noise in the background that you're not consciously aware of, but it's still going on. Your subconscious is taking all of that in. And it has this vast database available to us. When you are trying to make a decision or thinking about something, it can pull from that database of all those things that you did not recognize or perhaps you've forgotten about. It can pull from that information to give you an idea that you feel like is from out of nowhere, or a feeling or a sense about something, an intuitive nudge that you should go in a particular direction or not trust that person even though on the outside it seems fine. When that nudge is coming from your intuition, it is coming from your subconscious, and it is being pulled from data points you've taken in. So perhaps you researched something or heard something in the background a long time ago. That data is remembered by your subconscious, and it's giving you guidance or intuitive nudges based on that data that's been taken in. On the other hand, what I refer to as your inner knowing is another layer of your consciousness. It's your divine aspect. It's that part of you that is connected through the collective consciousness with God. It's divine. And it's with you your entire life. It's part of who you are, and it's trying to guide you. That guidance, however, it may show up and look the same as your intuition, but it's coming from beyond your subconscious. So it can give you guidance on things you have never taken in through your senses. If it's something from completely outside of your awareness or past experiences, it's probably coming from your inner wisdom rather than your intuition. Now, if you're curious how you can tell the difference, and it's important that you do, there's two ways. First of all, if your personal emotional frequency, we all have a frequency, we're energy, and we have a primary frequency that we hold, and it can change, it can raise, but wherever your frequency is right now, if it's not at 1 million bioenergy units or above, you're not able to connect and receive that guidance from your inner wisdom. Your subconscious is still there to watch out for you and give you those intuitive nudges and keep you safe, fill in the gaps from not being able to connect with your inner wisdom. But there's a difference between the two. So if you don't know where your frequency is, I have a free training that we're going to link in the show notes to this. And it's short. I highly recommend you check it out. I also have a chart I include on the emotional frequency scale and human consciousness scale. And this is a tool for you to just recognize where your frequency is. And I'll include more information on that in the training. So take a look at that. You can use it to connect more deeply with your subconscious and get answers from it. Or if your frequency is high enough and you set the intention, you can use it to connect with and get answers from your inner wisdom. So I highly recommend you check out that training and utilize that tool. A lot of people learn it and then they set it aside and they don't use it. It is really helpful. So discerning where your frequency is one way that you can tell for sure if you're connecting with your subconscious or your inner wisdom, because if your frequency is under 1 million, it's always going to be your subconscious. If your frequency is over 1 million, you can set the intention to connect with your inner wisdom, and you can use that technique to check and see if you're connected and ask where the guidance is coming from. And it will tell you, even if it's your subconscious, it will tell you if you ask. You can say, I'm getting this information or this guidance from my subconscious, and it will tell you yes or no. Another clue as far as where the information or the guidance is coming from is if it is leading you to step out of your comfort zone. Your subconscious works very hard to keep you safe, and it will not give you information and guidance to move you out of your comfort zone and do something new and different that has not been tested or that you have not done before, because it considers those new things to be a threat, a potential risk. It may not be. You could analyze it and know that it would be a lot better for you to do that thing. Your subconscious will still try to hold you back and stick with what you know. This is why when we have habits we've created, bad habits, let's say, those live in your subconscious and are habituated. It's what you know, and you keep doing it. And your subconscious wants to keep you there, even though you analytically are aware that it would be better to break that bad habit and move into doing something different. You have to really use your will and your motivation, which are part of your conscious awareness, which is limited. Remember, it's a small part of your consciousness. You have to exert energy and use your will and motivation to break that habit, because your subconscious is trying to hold on to it, even though it's not good for you. Again, your subconscious is just trying to keep you safe. But the way it's been programmed is that safety is in what you know, not what you don't know. If you've received what we call an intuitive nudge to do something new and different, a creative idea, a divinely inspired idea, to step out of your comfort zone, that is not your intuition or your subconscious telling you that. You will hear me on trainings referring to it as an intuitive download, but it's really your inner wisdom. It's your divine aspect guiding you to step out of your comfort zone. Your subconscious is not going to do that. So that's a clue. It's not coming from your subconscious. And I would also say it's a clue to really lean in and pay attention to it, because if you're connected with your divine aspect, or higher self, some people call it, or inner wisdom, if you are truly connected and receiving that guidance, why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you step forward and do what you're guided to do? That is your path. So I find it really helpful to understand where those ideas or that guidance, those nudges are coming from. But as we move forward, I'm going to talk more about intuition, but just remember that the skills I'm talking about developing, you can use these steps to develop your inner knowing in the same way, but you can't do it until your frequency is at or over 1 million bioenergy units. And I do have a training that will tell you more about how to do that, linked in the show notes. Just to highlight or drive this point home, why you want to develop your intuition. First of all, it's a skill. It is not a gift that you were born with. It's a skill. So you need to be aware of it as a skill, broaden your awareness, and practice. That's how we develop skills. You want to do this because your subconscious, as we talked about, is a huge database that's not available to your conscious awareness. If you're always trying to analyze things with your left side of your brain, it's a good thing to utilize that. It's why we have analytical skills, but it's not the whole picture. And your subconscious knows so much more than your conscious awareness does. If you tap into your intuition, you're allowing it to bring forward more information than you can consciously be aware of. So keep that in mind. And the other reason I love to teach people to hone this skill and really learn to trust it is that it's going to really help you get out of analysis paralysis, which we know if you're really a left-brained thinker, you can get into, can't you? Being a little bit indecisive and wanting to analyze it a little more and worry about what the right decision is. If it's not clear-cut, you analyze things for a reason. You want a clear-cut answer on what the right decision is, but sometimes, quite often actually, there's no clear-cut answer, especially if it's something you haven't tried and tested before. There's no clear-cut answer. Remember, your subconscious is trying to keep you safe, and it may very well lead you into more and more analysis, just to be sure, rather than making a decision. So this is where you want to ask your intuition, your subconscious, and you can say out loud or in your mind, I have to make a decision today. I need to move forward. If these are the choices, which path should I take? And you'll notice a feeling, probably, guiding you toward one way versus the other. And it may not analytically make sense because there's not a clear path forward. Allow it to lead you. Just make a choice. Do not stay stuck in analysis paralysis. Not making a decision is a decision to stay right where you are on that hamster wheel of overthinking and not taking action. The only way for us to really learn what the best path is to try something. Try something. Take a small step forward and see what happens. See what kind of information comes to you that may lead you on a different path or may give you ideas to tweak to stay on that path. You have to start. So your intuition is almost a tool from the subconscious to use against itself because your subconscious is trying to keep you stuck in decision mode. But if you ask, you will get a little nudge toward a particular choice when there's not an obvious one to make. You want to always do your due diligence. You want to use your analytical brain for what it's for, but then don't just stare at the data and not make a decision. Tap into your intuition and just pick something if the path isn't clear. It will help you with that, and this is one of the great reasons to tap into it. Now, if you have learned to tap into your inner knowing, remember that this is a more powerful ally because your divine aspect has more of a big picture beyond data that you may have brought into your subconscious. It has more of a big picture. It still may not always yield the results you want. Just to be clear, it doesn't mean once you tap into that inner knowing, everything's going to be rosy and 100% successful every time. You still have to take those steps and learn and tweak as you go. But I like to describe your inner knowing as your GPS. It has the big picture. It's going to help you try and avoid the traffic clogs along the way. But your conscious awareness is the driver. You don't have to listen to the GPS if you don't want to, but if it's got the big view, why wouldn't you listen to it? Now, I don't know how much you like your GPS or trust it, so perhaps that wasn't the best analogy, but I like the idea that you've got this big overriding guidance system that you can tap into. You're the driver. I've heard people raise the question here when I'm talking about your soul's path and purpose, that means you don't have free will or free choice. That's not true. You absolutely do. Your guides and your inner wisdom are here to try and keep you on what will be your most fulfilling path and fulfilling your soul's purpose on the planet, but you don't have to listen to them. Your conscious awareness is the driver. You always have free choice and free will. Sadly, this is part of the reason our planet is such a mess right now, because humans have not learned to tap into that inner wisdom and follow it all the time, and we make some very poor choices, don't we? I don't mean you personally, of course. I'm speaking of humanity in general. Our world is not in the best shape because humans continually are making poor decisions. When everyone learns to tap into their inner wisdom and trust it so that we're following it, the world will heal, humanity will heal, and it will become that beautiful iteration of a future that we all want to live in, where there's peace and harmony and balance between humans and our resources that we are pillaging at the moment and destroying the planet. And I'm digressing, sorry about that. This is what's possible when we learn to trust and follow our inner wisdom. But we do always have free choice. So I just want to clarify that. Having a divine path and purpose does not mean things are laid out and you don't have a choice of the direction you're going in. And for that matter, your purpose is somewhat general. As you live your life and develop skills and connections and different things come into your conscious awareness, the intricacies of how you live that purpose will evolve. That part is not predetermined. It's just a matter of how you have been innately made to best serve other people. Certain skills were baked into your DNA, like leadership, like compassion and love. Not everyone has tapped into those skills, but they're there for you to lean in and utilize, and that will be your most fulfilling path and purpose. Not that you have to go to X company and use those skills. That's up to you. But that those skills are there, and part of how you're meant to serve is part of your soul's overriding purpose. Okay, I digressed a little bit. Let me know in comments if you have any questions on intuition in general or the benefits of it. And now I want to share a short practice that you can implement to really hone this skill for yourself so you can learn to trust it. And again, you can use this to develop your inner wisdom instead. But if you are not there yet, I highly recommend you use these steps and learn to trust and honor your intuition. So the first thing you need to do, now that you recognize it's a skill, not a gift, is commit. Skills take practice. If you do this one day and then walk away from it, it's not going to get you anywhere and you're going to be frustrated. If you do this twice a week rather than 7 days a week, it certainly will not come around as quickly and you will probably be frustrated. I'm going to ask you to commit to 10 minutes a day. That's it. We all have 10 minutes we can find. I recommend the beginning of the day, so it will set your day up and you can be looking for that intuitive wisdom coming to you throughout the course of the day. Like any habit forming, you want to set a particular time of the day that you're going to do this every day because that'll make it easier for you to remember. Make it first thing right after you had your coffee or brushed your teeth or whatever that thing is for you in your morning routine. Find a time you can give yourself 10 minutes every single day because this is going to be life-changing and you are worth that little bit of time. You have to get up 15 minutes early every day to make sure you have time for this. Do it. I promise you, you will thank me later. You want to make sure that you have reminders for yourself, whether it's an alert on your phone or a sticky note by the coffee pot or the tea kettle. Make sure you have reminders because when it's not a habit yet, you will more than likely forget. And that is no fault on you. That's how habits work. It's not a habit yet. Set up this time. And you want a quiet place you can go to, not interrupted by any other members of your household, to sit quietly. And you're just going to take a minute to relax and turn your attention inward. And you can do this simply by bringing attention to your breath, nothing fancy, no fancy breathing exercises. Just focus on your breath. Feel it in your body. Pay attention to what it feels like. Going through your mouth, your nose, your chest, filling your chest up, or what it feels like as it leaves your body. Just focus on your breath for a minute, because that brings your attention inward. That's the whole point of that. When you're feeling relaxed and like you've left all of the morning's distractions behind you, set the intention. You can just say something out loud or silently to yourself. Set the intention that you are going to connect either with your intuition or your inner wisdom. After you've stated that, ask a question. Just ask yourself a how or what question and just let it hang there. And a little point of clarification, you want to make it simple because you're just practicing. You want to have fun with this, not overcomplicate it, and don't put pressure on yourself. You are not going to ask about a career shift right now or solving the world's problems. Nothing grand. Make it simple, easy, and fun. You could say something like, what do I really feel like doing today if it's a day off? What would feel really good? What's something I haven't thought about doing in a while that I might enjoy? What do I feel like having for dinner tonight? You get the idea. Simple. But don't get into analytical thought then and start thinking, what would I like to do? Don't do that. Don't go there. State the question and then let it go. If you need to focus on your breathing again, just to be quiet and bring your monkey mind, I call it, your overthinking analytical mind, back to the present, you can do that. Just focus on your breath for a minute and see if anything comes to you without you thinking about it. It probably won't. It probably won't yet. But I want you to just let that question go and do not think about it again intentionally and go about your day. And what you will find, if something comes to you later out of the blue, that will be either your intuition or your inner wisdom talking to you because you weren't thinking about it. But the times that it comes through are when you're relaxed. And so typically it's sometime that you are doing something mundane and repetitive and not in deep thought about something. So let's say you're chopping vegetables, folding laundry, out for a walk without your headphones on, just walking, doing something repetitive. There's something about that repetitive motion that relaxes us and allows the subconscious or your inner wisdom to bubble up and get your attention, the attention of your conscious awareness. And of course, your subconscious and your inner wisdom is you. It's part of you. But I'm talking about your conscious awareness is not aware of those answers yet. And so it wants to get your attention, and that's usually when you're relaxed. If this doesn't work and you're not noticing anything that first day or two, pay close attention to when you're in water, whether it's the bath, the shower, a swim, your hands in the sink, washing your hands or doing dishes. Water's very relaxing for us. And you will find often that that is when those ideas will come to you, out of the blue, if you will. That is an intuitive download. That is your intuitive wisdom coming forward. That's all there is to the practice, but I will add a little bonus tip here. The free training that I mentioned to check in on your frequency, you can use that same technique that I shared, that tool, to check in with your subconscious or your inner wisdom. And you can ask questions using that technique. And it's actually a little easier than just sitting with it and then waiting for the entire day for the wisdom to come to you. So check out that technique. It's linked in the show notes, and let me know how you find it, or if you have any questions about that or anything else that I've shared today. And be sure to hit subscribe, because I have another juicy training coming up soon that I don't want you to miss.